Hi everybody, Teacher Sarah here. I just wanted to share a story with you and some of my love of owls with you all. And right up here on the deck in front of this Pacific live oak tree, where there's a snowy owl, and here is a little screech owl, a western screech owl. But the story I'm going to read you today is about the great horned owl. So here is the story. It is Owl Moon, and it's written by Jane Yolen. It's going back into the winter times. Right now it's spring, but it's pretty chilly up here now, so maybe my voice will quiver. It was late one winter night, long past my bedtime, when Pa and I went owling. There was no wind. The trees stood still as giant statues. And the moon was so bright, the sky seemed to shine. Somewhere behind us, a train whistle blew, long and low like a sad, sad song. You can see the train going along the tracks here. It was so bright out from the full moon, it looked like daytime, didn't it? And here I am, stepping outside at night with moon shadows with Pa. I could hear it through the woolen cap Pa had pulled down over my ears. The farm dog answered the train, and then a second dog joined in. They sang out, trains and dogs, for a real long time, and when their voices faded away, it was quiet as a dream. We walked. We walked on toward the woods, Pa and I. See a fox. Our feet crunched over the crisp snow, and little gray footprints followed us. Pa made a long shadow, but mine was short and round. You see the shadows from the moonlight? I had to run after him every now and then to keep up, and my short, round shadow bumped right after me. But I never called out. If you go owling, you have to be quiet. That's what Pa always says. I had been waiting to go owling with Pa for a long time. We reached the line of pine trees, black and pointy against the sky, and Pa held up his hand. He stopped right where I was and waited. He looked up as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. The moon made his face into a silver mask. And then he called. He made the sound of a great horned owl. Again he called out, and then again, and after each call he was silent, and for a moment we both listened. But there was no answer. Pa shrugged, and I shrugged. I was not disappointed. My brothers all said, sometimes there's an owl, and sometimes there isn't. We walked on. I could feel the cold as if someone's icy hand was palmed down on my back, and my nose and the tops of my cheeks felt so cold and hot at the same time. But I never said a word. If you go owling, you have to be quiet and make your own heat. We went into the woods, and the shadows were the blackest things I had ever seen. They stained the white snow, and my mouth felt furry, for the scarf over it was wet and warm. I didn't ask what kinds of things hide behind those black trees in the middle of the night. When you go owling, you have to be brave. Here I am, out and entering the dark forest with Pa. And then we came to a clearing in the dark woods. The moon was high above us. It seemed to fit exactly over the center of the clearing, and the snow below it was whiter than the milk, even whiter than the milk in a cereal bowl. I sighed, and Pa held up his hand at the sound. I put my mittens over the scarf, over my mouth, and listened hard. And then Pa called again. I listened, and I looked so hard my ears hurt, and my eyes got cloudy with the cold. Pa raised his face to call out again, but before he could open his mouth, an echo came threading its way through the trees. Pa almost smiled, and then he called back. And just as he and the owl were talking about supper, or about the woods, or the moon, or the cold, I took my mitten off the scarf, off my mouth, and I almost smiled too. And there I am with Pa. Pa's looking back behind him. The owl answered. The owl's call came closer from high up in the trees on the edge of the meadow. Nothing in the meadow moved. All of a sudden, an owl shadow, part of the big tree shadow, lifted off and flew right over us. We watched silently with heat in our mouths, the heat of all those words we had not spoken. The shadow hooted again. And there he is. For 1 minute, for 3 minutes, maybe even 100 minutes, we stared at each other. The great horned owl, Pa, and I. And then the owl pumped its great wings and lifted off the branch. I wonder if you could pump your great wings. Can you pump your arms really hard and make your body lift up off the branch so you could fly through the forest? The owl pumped its great wings and lifted off the branch like a shadow without a sound. It flew back into the forest. Whoop, time to go home, Pa said to me. I knew then I could talk. I could even laugh out loud. But I was a shadow as we walked home. When you go owling, you don't need words or warm or anything but hope. That's what Pa says. The kind of hope that flies on silent wings under a shining owl moon. And there's the story of Owl Moon. Thanks for listening.